Om Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om. So, next point we were discussing is the omniscience of Brahman. So, omniscience is Sarvajñatvam. Similarly, Sarvajñatvam means all-knowership. Sarvashaktitvam, all potent, all knower and all potent. Sarvashaktitvam. Where is that? All knower, all potency. These Vyavahara should be understood as prakriyas. In Vedanta, Brahman being a cause or a creatorship. Creatorship means cause, effect, cause, sustainer and dissolver. Creatorship, sustainership and dissolvership. These three plus fourth is the sustainership is rulership. Rulership is not separate. Okay. The creatorship, sustainership and dissolvership. In these three, the middle one, the sustainership is called as ruler also. Rulership also. So along with these three, omniscience and omnipotence. Omniscience and omnipotence. That is Sarvajñatvam, Sarvashaktitvam. These five. First three and two. First three is creatorship, sustainership and dissolvership. Second is omniscience and omnipotence. These five, are they qualities of Paramatma? Most Shankarites present them as the qualities which Paramatma possesses them. So when he possesses these qualities, they call him Ishvara. One who possesses these qualities, he is called Ishvara. First they say Ishvara is the creator of the world because creatorship is his quality. Then sustainership, that is the rulership, is his quality. Then dissolvership is quality, means it is his power. Quality or power, either way. They are his, that is his quality or that is his power. Then omniscience also is his quality. Omnipotence also is a quality. So these qualities he possesses, he is in possession. He possesses, and therefore he is called Ishvara. So one who is in possession of these qualities is a creator of the world. This is what Shankarites say. Okay. Then after teaching Ishvara as a creator of the world, because he is in possession of these qualities, he is in possession of these qualities. Since he possesses these qualities, he is capable of creating, sustaining, ruling the world, and dissolving the world, and ruling the world, all that. And then what is Brahman? They say, Ishvara, who is in possession of these qualities or powers, is taught as the creator of the world. If this is taught, then the problem arises. Upanishad is teaching not Paramatma who is in possession of these qualities. This is the difference between Shankaras and Post-Shankarites. Post-Shankarites present to Paramatma as having these qualities, possessing these qualities. Since he possesses these qualities, he comes down from the Brahmatvam, from the level of Brahman. He assumes another status, another lower status called Ishvara. They use the word Ishvara fixedly to this lower level who is in possession of these qualities. But Shankara, first we told he interchangeably uses Brahman and Ishvara one. Second thing is that's because he doesn't present these as qualities of Paramatma. This is the important point. Between post Shankarites and Shankara, so many things we discuss, it may be confusing you. The clinching point is this. These qualities are powers. We have narrated just now, enlisted 5: creatorship, rulership, and then dissolvership, omnipotence, and then omniscience. These powers or qualities, whatever you say, they are not possessed by Ishvara, and therefore he doesn't come down to another level. These are only imposed on Ishvara, adhyastha on Ishvara. So adhyastha on Ishvara means what? These are not qualities possessed by Ishvara. If you say they are possessed by Paramatma, then Paramatma has to give up these qualities and become Nirguna. If you call him qualified one, then to say qualityless, then you have to transcend the qualities. Okay, so they present two steps. One is Paramatma possessing these qualities, they call him Ishvara. And another step, another level is Nirguna, is qualityless. But here what we say is, Shruti Upanishad is not teaching that qualified state as a separate state. Okay, it doesn't teach qualified state at all. He is using these qualities and powers only as a prakriya, only as a teaching step, not Ishvara's level, not Paramatma's two levels. Okay, Paramatma, qualified Paramatma is another, unqualified is another. He is not teaching two levels of Paramatma, but two steps of teaching. One is Adhyaropa step, another is Apavada. Okay, so having qualities is only an Adhyaropa step. Therefore, Paramatma is not taught as having qualities. Qualities are used as a prakriya to teach directly Nirguna Brahman. Brahman as a non-dual Brahman. Non-dual Brahman is directly taught using his qualities as a method of teaching, as a prakriya, not to teach him as a qualified Brahman, a lower Brahman. They say, since Upanishad is teaching qualities, they want to say a qualified Brahman is a lower one, and that qualified Brahman is the creator of the world. And next step is who transcends the creatorship and is the Nirguna Brahman. So two Brahmans they present. But here Shankara or Swamiji says, the qualified Brahman is not an intermediate, another level of Brahman. Qualities are taught only as a prakriya. Okay, this is the important point. This is the clinching point. That his creatorship is only of the same Nirguna Brahman, same qualityless Brahman. That creatorship is only a prakriya. Creatorship is only an adhyaropa. Creatorship is only a medium of teaching, a teaching step to teach directly non-dual Brahman. Creatorship is only a teaching step. It is not a Brahman's lower level making another level of Brahman. Two levels of Brahman, first level of Brahman and second level of Brahman. No. The creatorship and all his powers and qualities are used as a prakriya to teach directly non-dual Brahman. This is because Brahman has no qualities. Qualities are always imposed. Qualities and powers are always imposed. Brahman himself doesn't have qualities or powers. They say there is a lower level Brahman who can be called Ishvara, who is in possession of, who is always in possession of power. See, because of making these two levels of Brahman, one is Ishvara, another is real Brahman. When you make these two levels, what is the difficulty in that? You may ask, Okay, let them make. What is ultimately they are also coming to Nirguna Brahman. So what is wrong in that? So the difficulty is the lower level of Brahman, they make him always associated with qualities. Always, that means he's always with qualities. He's always qualified. He's eternally qualified. They put him like that. They call him Ishvara and make him eternally qualified, make him eternally a creator, a ruler, and a dissolver. So this creatorship, rulership is an eternal entity, and Brahman is in a higher level. Okay. This is what they create. What Swamiji says or Shankaracharya says is, creatorship is not an eternal entity. Creatorship is only an angle of looking. Therefore, it is only Adhyaropa. It is from Jiva standpoint. It is from the worldly standpoint. Same non-dual Brahman is attributed these qualities. Called as a ruler, called as a creator. So the creatorship is only a way of looking. It is Adhyaropita step. It is a teaching step. It is Adhyaropita imposed. It is only a standpoint of looking. Okay, the same Nirguna Brahman. Same qualityless Brahman, qualifiedness is only a stand, is only a way of looking, is not in another state of him. See, therefore, qualified is only an Adhyaropita. As long as you are Jiva, as long as you look at from the world, you call him as a creator. But creatorship is only from this standpoint. Himself is not. Brahman himself, from his standpoint, is non-creator, is non-dual, because there is no world apart from him. There is no, so the Brahman, his powers, and the created world, that is the effect. Brahman, see, so Brahman, the qualities, and the created world, all three are one non-dual Brahman. Therefore, so the same non-dual Brahman is present even now. And the same non-dual Brahman, who doesn't have qualities, who has not produced the world. Yet he is presented as a qualified one, only as a relative to the worldly standpoint. It is only a standpoint. It is a teaching step. There is no such a permanent entity called qualified Brahman, called by fixed name as Ishvara by post-Shankarites. They gave him fixed name Ishvara because he is qualified. But Shankara uses the Ishvara word from Nirguna Brahmana also. Okay. Therefore, that qualified is not a fixed state. Always he is qualified. He is always called Ishvara, is a post-Shankarites way. He is calling him Ishvara and calling him always qualified, and he is always qualified. He is always called Ishvara. The difficulty is, okay, if we accept this, what is the difficulty? Because two things. One is, Upanishad is asking in the Brahma Sutra, let us say, Athato Brahma Jignasa. He says, now there is a understanding of Brahman, there is an inquiry into Brahman. What is Brahman? In the next sutra, second sutra of Brahma Sutras, Janmadhyasya Yata is teaching as a cause of the world. Now, if cause of the world, if first sutra wants you to teach non-dual Brahman, and second sutra teaches the cause of the world, then how can it go? It is a contradiction. But to post-Shankarites, they say, the cause of the world, who is a creator of the world, Ishvara, is a qualified one. Is a qualified Brahman, fixed as a Ishvara, is the creator. Then the contradiction comes, which Thibaut, George Thibaut is a German translator of Brahma Sutra Bhashya. He says, he raises an objection. Brahma Sutras, first sutra teaches that I am teaching you Brahman, inquiring into Brahman. Second sutra, instead of teaching that non-dual Brahman, he is teaching a lower Brahman who is called fixed as a Ishvara, and who is always qualified and fixedly called as Ishvara. Why is he teaching qualified Ishvara? First sutra promises an investigation into non-dual Brahman. Second sutra teaches dual Brahman, who is a qualified Brahman, who is dual related to Jagat. This cannot be resolved. Then in Shankara's explanation, Shankara doesn't teach that the creatorship in the second sutra, because second sutra is based upon Taittiriya Upanishad of the Bhrigu. Third one, Bhrigur Vaivarunihi Varunam Pitaramupasasara. There Bhrigu approaches his father, who happens to be his guru, and asks him, Adihi Bhagavo Brahmeti. He says, please teach me Brahman. He's asking him to teach Brahman, non-dual Brahman, not a creator Ishvara. In fact, creator and Ishvara are not two which post-Shankarites have created. So he's asking him to teach Brahman, but Upanishad is teaching him as a creator. Then the doubt comes, if you come with a post-Shankarites background, why? When the Shishya is asking, teach me Brahman, he is teaching qualified Ishvara, who is a lower level, is not teaching Brahman. This doubt arises if you come with the background of post-Shankarites. Okay? But according to Shankara, and also as understood and explained by Satchidanandendra Swamiji, he is not teaching a qualified Ishvara. The causality, the creatorship is only a prakriya. He is not teaching a creator Ishvara separately. Because creator Ishvara is not separate, lower step, a lower Brahman. There are no two Brahmans. Okay? There are no two Brahmans, a lower Brahman. Lower Brahman is always creator, is always qualified, and Nirguna Brahman is always qualityless and always non-creator, non-dual. Is always qualityless, is always non-dual. Then lower Brahman is always qualified and is always creator. This kind of dividing is not done by Shankara. Okay? And Satchidananda Swamiji says they are one. So then how do you explain creatorship? Creatorship is not a lower Brahman, same Brahman. Creatorship is only an Adhyaropa step. So the creatorship is used as a teaching step. Creatorship is only a teaching method, a teaching step. The qualifiedness, qualified creator status is not a status, it is only a teaching step which culminates in non-dual Brahman. Okay? In the pretext of creatorship, that means one who is taken as a creator from the standpoint of the world himself is non-dual Brahman. See, these two steps, these two sentences should be taken in a combined sense. Okay? One who is the creator from the standpoint of the world himself is non-dual Brahman, or non-dual Brahman himself is called creator with reference to the world. From the standpoint of the world, he is called creator, but himself is not creator, himself is not qualified, himself is not relative to the world. Okay, he himself is not eternally qualified, he himself is not called creator, himself is not relative to the world, he himself is non-dual. There is no world apart from him. There is no creatorship as a lower permanent feature of him. There is no creatorship as a permanent feature of him. It is only a standpoint from the world, from the Jiva standpoint. Okay? From the Jiva standpoint, he is called creator. It is only relativeness, is an imposed one. And it is a teaching step. Upanishad takes it as a teaching step that one who is a creator is not taught. Creatorship is a step to understand non-dual. To point out the non-dual Brahman, creatorship is used as a technique, as a method. take away your attention from the world to Brahman, one who appears as a creator from the standpoint of the world. So, one who is a creator himself is non-dual Brahman, that is the Brahman taught him. So, in Taittiriya Upanishad, Bhruguvalli, the Bhrugu disciple or son. Son is a disciple there. So, Bhrugu asks, and Varuna, the guru, teaches. He is asking directly what is Brahman, and to understand Brahman, he is using creatorship as a method, as a step, as a teaching method to teach non-dual Brahman. But he is not teaching a creatorhood. Okay, a creator entity is not teaching. Creator is not an entity taught here. Creatorship is only a teaching step to teach directly non-dual Brahman, because there is only one Brahman, non-dual. There is no a qualified Brahman, a lower Brahman who is always qualified, always creator, and another is an always unqualified, always non-dual. There are no two Brahmans. You create two Brahmans, confusion arises. This is what Sankara has done. This is a little complicated, so we have been discussing in the last 2 or 3 classes. Therefore, I am repeating some of the points so that the point should become clear. Okay, so creatorship is not in another lower level of Brahman, a permanent feature of Paramatma. It is only a relative stand. Relative is only relative. As long as you look from these things, he appears, but himself is not. That is the thing. That is the thing. Therefore, there in that Brahma Sutra, second sutra, they interpret that sutra is talking about a creator Brahman. Then first sutra says we are investigating into Brahman, that is original Brahman, real Brahman. But here, why are you teaching a lower Brahman who is a creator? Post-Shankarites say that yes, here this sutra is teaching a creator Brahman, but next step he teaches the non-dual Brahman. But where is that? Sutra is not teaching. There is no third sutra is not covering the next step. They say, okay, even if the sutra doesn't say, even if the Shankaracharya doesn't say, we have to imply that the sutra as well as the Shankaracharya, they say, according to them, they say that sutra as well as the Shankaracharya are teaching the creator Brahman and leaving at that. Teaching the creator Ishvara and leaving at that. So the remaining step of non-dual Brahman, we have to add and include it. Neither Sutra is teaching nor Shankaracharya is teaching, but we have to add. Okay. Now there's the post-Shankarites sub-commentators, they try to add this step because they have interpreted the second sutra as teaching the creator Brahman alone, a permanent creator Brahman. Since a lower Brahman, since he is teaching a creator lower Brahman, the second step we have to assume and add it. Then why sutra is not covering? Then why Bhashyakara also did not say? They say, oh, Bhashyakara did not say, but we have to add, we have to take upon our. This is what Swamiji says. You say Sutra did not teach, and Upanishad Taittiriya also did not teach. It is teaching only a creator Brahman, a lower Brahman, who is always qualified. And the remaining step you do on your own. It is like a patient comes to a doctor. Doctor prescribes one half medicine, two medicines he needs. He prescribes one medicine and remaining medicine you imagine yourself. He expects the patient to imagine himself and take it. How can the patient himself imagine and do it? Or does he consult another patient and take it? See, if a patient goes to doctor, the doctor has to prescribe two medicines for him, and he prescribes one medicine and leaves him. So that what will the patient do? He will imagine the remaining medicine, or he will consult another patient. Another patient is equally ignorant like him. Only doctor knows. How does the patient know? So here, why is he? This question always arises. Why is he teaching only a creator Brahman who is a always qualified Brahman, always creator, a lower Brahman. Why is he not teaching directly Brahman? Okay. Therefore, George, here it is not the point, still I am referring. Therefore, George Thibault says that, see, Brahma Sutra, second sutra is teaching because he went by the post-Shankarites. Taking the post-Shankarites explanation for granted, instead of looking at Shankara's explanation, it has taken the post-Shankarites explanation for granted and says that second sutra is teaching only qualified Brahman, the creator Brahman. It is not teaching non-dual Brahman. Therefore, sutra is not cooperating Advaita, not cooperating Shankara. It is the Sutrakara, the writer of the Sutra, Badarayana, was not an Advaitin. He was more of a Vishishtadvaitin. He made his own conclusion. See this? See how post-Shankarites made a mistake, and George Thibault has made a different conclusion, which is totally twisted. Everything has gone different. So that's simply because they missed Shankara's explanation. Because they went by post-Shankara. But why post-Shankara did it? It is their Swabhava. Panchapadika did it and everybody does the same. What can we do? So if you put if you take the lower Brahman is the creator Brahman is taught in the second sutra and also in Taittiriya Upanishad, always doubt arises. Why? The student Shishya is asking non-dual Brahman and is teaching a lower Brahman, creator Brahman. But who will teach the next step? Does the Guru expect that student will understand on his own? Student came to learn from you and you treat half and like it is something like you do half operation and leave the patient and you expect the patient to do remaining operations, get up himself. Suppose he cut his stomach and did half operation and the doctor goes away, surgeon goes away, the patient will get up from his operation table and remaining he will do himself and go. How will he do? You expect him to do the remaining job. So, therefore, Shankara himself openly told that which is taken as a creator himself is non-dual. Creator is only an explanation. Creator is only a teaching step. Creator is not an end point. Creator is only a teaching step pointing out directly the non-dual Brahman. One who is taken as a creator from the standpoint world, himself non-creator, non-dual, is the Brahman, is directly pointing out the Brahman. So the creatorship is only a teaching step, a pointing quality. It is not a conclusive step, it is a pointing out. To point to the Ishwar, to point at non-dual Brahman, is using a creatorship as a referring point, as a reference. That's all. When somebody is sitting here, whom do you say? Oh, who is on my right side when you sit? But the right side is, as long as I am sitting here, he is on my right side. Supposing I sit there, he won't be on my right side, he will be in my front. So therefore, right side in the front or left side, these are tentative relationships. Therefore, creatorship is only an imposed tentative relationship. Is a tentative imposed relationship, but is using that tentative relationship to point out a non-dual Brahman. Okay, that's the point. If you understand this, it is all. Therefore, Sarvajñatvam, the omniscience is not a quality, but omniscience is directly his nature, his essential nature. Therefore, omniscience, omnipotence, creatorship, they are not taught here as qualities of Brahman, but they are used as a teaching step to teach the non-dual Brahman, where these are standing in Brahman, these are existing in Brahman, not as qualities. These are not qualities of Brahman, but the creatorship, the omniscience, etc., are not qualities. They are directly the nature of Brahman. Okay, there is no guna guni bhava, we call them. Guna guni bhava means the creator. If he possesses them as a quality, then he becomes a qualified one. They are not qualities of him, they are only adhyaropita, only for your understanding. But this adhyaropa step, where this quality is only a relative, that he is a creator, is omnipotent, and is omniscient, and he gives karma phala. These things are adhyaropita. It is only adhyaropita to point out, it is superimposed to point out the non-dual Brahman. But the same thing is used in karma kanda. Karma kanda means in religions, in prayer, when you do rituals and prayers, all the theology. In other words, in theology and prayer, we talk Ishvara as a creator. That is only from the adhyaropita standpoint. For sake of an upasaka, a person who does the prayer and believes and all that, so for him, he is a creator. So that creatorship is only a relative to the standpoint of the jiva. That's okay. Since he only believes and goes on offering his prayers and does puja, parayana, japa, and namaskara, etc. He does namaskara to Bhagavan, all that, then Bhagavan blesses him, graces him, all that. So that relationship of upasaka. Upasaka means a praying sadhaka and a prayed Bhagavan. A praying sadhaka and a prayed Bhagavan, a worshipper sadhaka and worshipped Bhagavan, that relationship goes on. But that is only adhyaropita. That is, you impose and Vyavahara continues. But in Jnana Kanda, in the Vedantic teaching, so that upasaka stage, upasaka means the one who prays. One who prays. So that the praying person's praying sadhaka standpoint is retained in Jnana Kanda. So the mistake of the post-Shankarites, the Vyakhyanakara says, what is that adhyaropita step is used in the rituals, in the upasana karma kanda. The same thing they retained here and made another step for the nirguna, for qualityless. They made another step. They retained that upasana kanda step in Jnana Kanda. That is the mistake they made. Here Swamiji says clearly, Bhashakara himself says. So therefore, he is not teaching a creatorship, omnipotence as a quality, omniscience as a quality. Omniscience is directly non-duality. Omniscience means pure consciousness. Omniscience means pure consciousness. Omnipotence means he is everything. His everything is omnipotence. His creator means what? Everything comes from him. That means he is everything. He is everything. Whole thing is himself. Therefore, so that non-duality, it is pointing out non-duality in the name of creatorship. Creatorship is only a pointer to non-duality. Itself is not aimed at teaching. Creatorship is not the aim of the teaching, but is only a means of teaching the non-duality. I think I've been repeating it. If you understand the main point, I think you have understood. In short, okay, now coming to the 12th point, we have finished. Now we go to the 13th point. 14th point is more important because 14th we will not deal today. Tomorrow we will deal. It is 14th is that Drishti Sushtivada and all that complex topic it is. I too have to go slowly. I have to explain. It's a very complex. Within Vedanta also is very complex. We'll go point by point slowly. Okay. Before that, this small point we'll finish in 2-3 minutes and conclude for today. Cause and effect. 13th point in the misconceptions about Shankara in this book. 13th point. It is not right to think that Badarayana's doctrine of identity of the effect with the cause is the same as the kindred doctrine of Sankhya's. So the Karya Karana oneness, the identity of cause and effect, is not similar to Sankhya's. Okay, is the same as the kindred doctrine of Sankhya's. For he stoutly declares that the effect of the universe, because in Sankhya's, the effect is really born and effect becomes one with the cause, really goes back, it gets receded. But here, there is no creation, there is no question of resolving back. Creation itself is a false appearance. Therefore, resolving is also correcting your false appearance. There is no real resolving. Okay? There is no real dissolving because there is no real creation. Therefore, we should to take it like those of Sankhya's. Okay? For he stoutly declares, Shankaracharya stoutly declares that the effect of the universe of sentient and insentient things is in itself unreal. Unreal means what? Unreal world. See, they say it is like this. When the world is false or false appearance, unreal, it doesn't mean that unreal world is created. They present it this. See, a snake is false doesn't mean that a false snake is created. They put it that means in the falsity they put it as an entity. This is post Shankarites. False only means it is only rope. There is no snake apart from rope. There is no snake apart from rope. Okay. Similarly, here, there is no such thing called effect. What you call world is in reality Brahman alone. So the world was never born. Neither false world nor real world. No kind of world. What you call world in reality is Brahman. Okay. Therefore, sentient and insentient thing is in itself unreal and has no existence independent of Brahman. So the effect has no existence independent of Brahman. Sankhya's, they say, from the cause it emerges. It becomes unmanifest and it emerges out of it, stays for a while and it merges back into it. There is no emerging and merging back. Okay? No emerging, no merging back. Even now, even during your state of misunderstanding, it is already one non-dual. World has neither emerged nor merges back. It is already one non-dual. This is the point. So in the 14th sutra, Tadananyatvamarambana Shabdadibhyaha, second adhyaya, first pada, and 14th sutra. Arambhanadikarana, we call him shortcut. Arambhana Sutra. Arambhana Sutra means oneness. It teaches the oneness of cause and effect. Okay. Therefore, the cause and effect is also, is not telling how the effect has come out of it and how the effect goes back. He is not teaching the process. He is not teaching that the effect has come out, nor is teaching a process of merging and merging back. No process is taught because it has never emerged. Nothing has moved out of it because it has never moved away from it. It is still the same Brahman. Non-dual, it has never moved out of it. That is it. Okay. See yourself as a Brahman. From that standpoint, you don't see the world apart from that pure existence. Apart from that pure existence which you are, you means we all are. We all are the same existence in our real nature. From that existence, no world apart from that. Therefore, cause and effect is not taught as a relation. It is not a relational cause and effect. It is dissolving the relation. Not even dissolving. There is no cause and effect. There are no cause and effect as two things. There is no question of no relationship. They are not two things. Therefore, there is no question of relationship. They are just one. Okay. Now, the empirical reality of the universe is the world. Next point is the 14th. Okay. In this 14th point is the world. Is the world real? Does it have a tentative reality? Does it have an empirical reality? What is it? Or it is a purely illusion. That means, is it only Drishti Srishtivada? Is it purely illusion or does it have any empirical reality? This question, this Drishti Srishtivada confusion. We will resolve it for once for all. Okay, this is a big topic. Not big, complicated, big also. 2 pages. Swamiji discusses 2 pages, and it is a little complicated because many people have accused Swamiji of Drishti Srishtivadi, that is solipsism in English, and then all that thing. Now we'll say, so we will present in that way, in such a way that none of these accusations apply, but at the same time, it explains the empirical and an absolute all realities. It thoroughly explains without giving room for any confusion, any misunderstanding, any accusation. Because the proper prakriya, proper understanding was not there because of this thing. It's a big topic, I told, because I take that, though here Swamiji did not discuss in detail, I take the Drishti Srishtivada, how they accuse Gaudapada Acharya. There is a Drishti Srishtivada of Vedanta Siddhanta Muktavali, written sometime 16th century by one Prakashananda. And then to tell a little bit of history of this thing. In fact, this is important. This Drishti Srishtivada, how did it start? And then how it has created more problem. This point also I have to discuss. A little more I have to discuss. In fact, I expected that Swamiji should do in Prakriya Pratyabhigna, this Drishti Srishtivada. There is one Vedanta Siddhanta Muktavali, written by one Prakashananda of 16th century. Okay, another Prakashananda Swamiji of 16th century, he wrote the book, and Swamiji should have reviewed the whole book and wrote one school, that Drishti Srishti school, he should have discussed it. Anyway, I have that plan in my view. I don't know when will I be able to do, but that should be discussed to clear all this confusion. So it's a big topic and it's a deeper topic. We'll discuss tomorrow and day after 2 or 3 days it will take. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Om Tat Sat. It's 42 minutes. Okay.